public meeting. Call the meeting to item as the prior.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for March 24, 2026.
I have a motion from Heath. Second. I have a second from Bill. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved as written. The only item of new business we have today is this public hearing for a request from Jeff and Ann Weddle for a variance less than required setbacks of 8 feet to 5 feet for the construction of a new home located at 2513 L Street in Bedford. Property is presently zoned R3. Anybody speaking for and against, I'm assuming has already signed in. Please, everybody, let's start with the Weddles. Yes.
You do. You need to come up to the.
Just get an idea of kind of what you're looking to do, and even though it's in here, that way we can.
Okay, the lot is odd size. It's 80 wide by 170 long, and the house, as we designed it and had it drawn up, is 70 foot wide. That's counting the garage, attached garage. And that puts me within 5 feet of each property line, instead of the 9 feet or 8 feet that would be required because it's 80 foot wide. But there's a slice out of it. It's an odd shape, 62 foot slice off the side of the property. The visual aid. This is facing L Street. Here's the cutoff I was talking about. All right. So it's an odd slice off the property. It's 80 foot wide here and 64.75 foot wide here. So we've moved the house back far enough to have this in the garage. And that puts me 5 feet on each side from here instead of the 8 feet.
I'm assuming the driveway is going to be here,
Driveways are straight up through here.
and the adjacent homes are kind of over here on the yard side, it looks like.
One neighbor's home is here.
Okay,
And then the other neighbor's home is farther up.
Okay.
So my windows on this side will face his back fence and then the side of his garage.
okay.
So this is an existing home here in this cutout?
Yes.
Okay.
You might not have measured that. Do you have any idea how close the existing houses on each side of that are to the property line? They may have been built before the zoning ordinances were set in place. I'm just curious about that.
Well, we had a concern about a sewer line from the neighbor's home. It's a pump sewer line that goes to the city sewer when they did away with septic systems. And it comes up on this side, and he said it's 30 feet from the house, and then the line comes right to my property line, just like inches inside my property line. It goes straight to the street, and then up the street to a tap up in this center of the street up here. So that would be 30 feet to the area of their house where the septic line comes out.
Presently, nothing's on this lot.
No, it's correct. Okay.
Thank you. Picture's worth 1,000 words.
Is there anything else you needed from me?
The board may have some questions based upon what you described. That's very helpful. I can see you trying to utilize the best way possible the shape of and still get what you're looking for.
So this is L Street, and there's the slice that's on your drawing there. And then my garage is placed here.
Garage is over here. Okay.
Kevin, I'm assuming these Kirby's and Chastain's are two adjacent properties here that you have on the,
Is that, Chastain's across the street.
okay, and the Lynn?
This is Brooklyn. She lives to the house to the south.
Okay.
And, Kirby's are the house to the north.
Any,
Is that right?
any correspondence with them? Can you?
No, like I said, she's here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Nobody has contacted me in regards to this.
Okay.
Are there any other things for Mr. Weddle? Thank you very much. Anyone speaking against or questions, or please?
Hi, everyone. My name's Brooke, and I live on the south side of Mr. Weddle's property. And I just came to bring up my concerns of it being 5 feet next to my property line. And I'm just asking that we keep it the standard 8 feet. I'm mainly concerned because our house is kind of at the bottom of a hill, and I'm worried about any type of drainage issues, just hurting my property. And,
Could you show us on here?
Yeah.
You've got it to the south. This is the property that he's talking about.
yes, and right here.
Okay, okay, you're in the little cutout. All right.
And the topography shows that we're on a lower elevation.
So that's just mainly our concern. So we're just asking if we could keep it to that standard 8 foot.
Mr. Whittle, this is a new build, so have you taken into account, whatever you do, you're going to have various drainage
All the-
arrangements there?
The property slopes, the elevation drops to the back of the house. So my contractor's recommended all gutters and any swale work that needs done be sent to the back. And there's nothing back there. It drops probably a 12-foot drop. And then beyond my property.
So if you're gonna
it's like
come up to the,
I'm sorry, that was my fault. I should have asked you to come up. I knew better than that. I didn't mean to get you yelled at. Sorry.
The rear elevation drops off probably about 12 feet from the back of the house down to a lower level back there. And then beyond that, it drops into a sinkhole. And my contractor is going to run all the guttering and any swale work is going to be run to that back elevation down that back hill. It's going to be laid low down into the area so that any gutter runoff runs into that lower area down there.
So anything from the front of that lot side it would be to the north of, your neighbors here.
Yeah, any water will go due west.
Is there any chance the excavation, the foundation, when you put this house in, is gonna raise the level of that ground that would divert water, regardless if it's going through a gutter or not, divert water, rainwater to their property?
I don't believe so. There's nothing odd about the elevation it's gonna have a full basement in it. But I don't see any reason why it change the elevation of the house or the property line for the lot.
this is that's her concern. She said so much lower than his property goes.
Okay.
All the fill dirt from the basement excavation is going a block and a half away to the corner of 25th and L, I believe it is. There's a guy working on leveling a lot down there. He's building 2 houses on a lot down there. He's got a lot of leveling.
So it's dropping that way.
He's gonna take all the fill, so
And he
he won't
says
be
it looks like
increasing elevation due to fill from the
a
basement.
hill right there past that tree. It looks like that's probably. Kevin, do you see any, do you see any storm drainage problems with that? Or anything that they gotta take into consideration because of just noticing how low their house is to the south end from maps?
Well, any runoff from his property, any runoff from his house or his gutters and any of that other stuff is supposed to run to the street, or in his case, probably most likely behind, because it's not, there's no way it's gonna run to the street.
Right.
So he can't run over onto her naturally. Naturally, it can flow over to her property, but that's a really short distance at 5 feet, so that's not long enough distance by stormwater ordinance. He would need to direct it to where it goes the natural way, which is gonna be to the west.
To the west.
Yeah, because it's never gonna, I don't think we can ever get it to the east to get to the street, because then it will flow back to her anyway.
Right, so anything would go to the standard where you would normally try to would actually be a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
This
the way
way
the
it falls
ordinance is written,
in.
also are supposed to go to the street, but naturally, there are areas in town where that's not possible.
Right, right. In this
So
case,
you
we
have
got a
to
dramatic
work away.
drop on the back side.
And honestly, whichever way, if I understand this right, whichever way to the street or out the back, if it was done wrong, it would have the same impact on these folks and potentially run down off them. So the direction it goes really doesn't matter. I would ask a question. Do you have an issue now? That's a pretty sharp drop off. I see what you're talking about. Do you have an issue now with water off of this vacant lot coming? And the reason I ask is that something that could be mitigated by a house going in there
Right.
to funnel
That's
any
what I was
water that's collecting there now and running down and impacting you folks.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Nothing's stopping that water there now with nothing there. Having a structure there and proper drainage, routing that could assist in any existing problems you might have. If in fact you do, I don't know. We need a chance to speak to that.
Yes. Yeah, reminded them to come up here.
Yeah, we're about to get you yelled at. Ian.
So, currently, we're not experiencing any problems with drainage. However, in new construction, we don't want to find problems later on. There's also just, I guess this would also need to go through like, to validate the guttering. But in addition to that, long-term degradation to the property itself, even if it looks it's, frequent but small, changes. But, currently, no.
Okay, so while I've got you up here then, I understand your concerns from seeing the picture. That is a steep drop off there. What would be, in your perfect world, what would be short of not building anything there? What would be your resolution, your solution to make you happy in your world?
I think just sticking with the guidelines of the 8-foot setback.
You think the 3 foot would help that much?
I think every possible foot would help.
Okay, now for Mr. Weddle, if you would, what is going to be your landscape plan? That doesn't show up anywhere in the drawing. Is that going to be grass? Is it,
Yeah.
the driveway doesn't, but
Majority of
right up
everything will be
against
grass.
that where there would be no absorption, right?
Well, the majority of everything will be grass. There'll be grass here and then grass over here and then grass here. I would think that the guttering from the house and the garage run down the slope, down the slope would lower the chance of water running into the neighbor property this way. I mean, it is a slope off here, but I'm
Right.
at, L Street comes up, I'm at the peak of
Both
both
houses,
houses.
the way it is now, all of the water shed, all the water is going to run to the lower.
And this is what I was wondering about, the garage with here, the drive coming out here, the distance that he's needing the relief on. I didn't want water coming off a driveway with no absorption except maybe that 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever.
Right.
To get there. There, from the driveway, there is runoff. The rest of it
Because it
should
does
be.
not absorb like ground.
Right.
does. Right.
I'm thinking, the proper guttering should take care of the runoff off of the house, or the garage.
I got a question on that too. I know the square footage of the house is gonna, if the gutter's put in right, it's gonna take care of all that water. Now, is there trees in the neighborhood?
Yes, there's a couple of trees. The reason we placed the house where we did is we want a couple of the larger
Yeah.
trees to stay.
I would if this does get approved, I'd recommend put a good gutter guard in, because otherwise leaves will will stop up and water will run over. Pretty easy. And, I've always done that on our house. And it does help. So I definitely recommend a good gutter guard on
I can look at what's available now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you looked at have you investigated at all what would have to be done in changing your plans to match up? with
Yes, I have actually, and I have a plan B, and I'll tell you what the plan B is and then why I didn't want to go to plan B.
Okay.
My plan B would be to cut 8 feet off the garage, recenter the house, and that puts me 9 foot in from each side. Now, the reason I'm wanting the garage this size is my wife and I host family get-togethers for her side and my side because nobody else has anywhere to host. And this is gonna be my alternate Thanksgiving dinner type of area.
Okay.
That's why the garage is 24 to 30 feet. But plan B would be to just whack 8 foot off the garage, recenter the house.
Would you have to whack that much off? I'm just trying to think, is that what it would take?
Probably not, but that would put me a foot in, farther in than I need to be.
Right. No need to be further than you need to be necessarily, maybe just, I'm just thinking devil's advocate here. I appreciate, I do not believe you have, I think it will help with the water, with the drainage situation now, honestly. Simply because I've seen situations like this, similar to this, where, any structure there that's going to catch water and divert it is going to be less that would run off. I know that's not your only concern, but, I'm just thinking out loud here. Are there other questions?
The water. Let me get squared away here. You said there is a sinkhole.
Low spot back here, this behind, right in here somewhere.
Okay,
There's a very low spot. I believe it's a sinkhole right in here somewhere.
okay. And is this a vacant
Yeah,
lot?
that's all wooded and very steep terrain or semi-steep terrain between us and this addition here.
Okay, when this water would go this way, it would be cutting across this property right here at
Well, it's almost like a whole slope goes like this.
okay.
I didn't have.
Kevin, did you have anything from the folks at 1226? Did you contact them? Looking at this picture, what we're looking at with discussing with the water going out the back is going to run across that backyard.
Well, 1220, there's actually, I believe there's a platted alleyway between those properties.
Right, there's an alleyway I can see back here. I don't know that terrain back there, but depending on where that sinkhole is, there's a great deal of.
No, I did not contact 1226 because there is that platted alleyway between those two parcels. And the water, where he's gonna be on the backside, there's enough space that his water can flow naturally.
There's nothing back there.
Problem.
Okay, this picture shows how it looks better.
Nobody else affected had any concerns, Kevin, or were there anybody else?
No, I don't expect anybody to.
Why couldn't they make this lot rectangular? Do you have any other questions?
No.
Thank you. So I entertain discussion or a motion?
Well, I believe after hearing Mr. Weddle and these folks, and I hear what you're saying, and seeing the picture, I understand your situation. In my mind, the situation is such that Mr. Weddle is going to build something there. Anyway, I can't find a compelling reason to think the 3 feet that would be lost from a 5-foot setback to an 8-foot setback would mitigate any flood concerns, water concerns that these folks might have. I think I would emphasize strongly that water does need to go rear that's coming off the house and off that garage. That is a steep hill coming down to these folks' place. But it sounds like Mr. Weddle is willing to do that. Mr. Weddle, you don't have to get up, do you have a builder for this house in mind? Is this a home? I mean, are you building it yourself or?
We have, 2 contractors currently have our prints in hand, or builder's prints, to give us cost of build estimates. We haven't heard back from them yet.
Okay. I would encourage you strongly, if we do this, to make sure that on those prints and on their quote, that good gutters are built into that quote. That's going to be very important, that water gets funneled and channeled.
Yeah, we told them that already, that it's part of it.
And seeing that it's going to be built anyway, either this size or a bit smaller, which the odd shaped lot creates a problem. And that's kind of what's fed this problem. I think I'm inclined to allow this variance, and I can make a motion as such if you so desire, Mr. Chairman.
I'm looking for one.
I will make a motion that we approve this variance request by Mr. Weddle for this bill at the L Street location.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second upon if the gutters, good gutters on, downspouts, and a good gutter guard. I'll second.
I have a second with that. Good gutter guards. Obviously, I know the big gutters, but the big guard could keep any of the wastewater out. Avoid any overflow. That it be approved then. So all in favor of such? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Here,
Okay. Okay, that said, the variance is applied for, is approved with that stipulation regarding the property regarding that. I appreciate everybody's time today. If there's no other discussion here, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I have a motion. A second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Adjourned.
Kevin,